Right, how's it going? Back with another L video. It's been a hot minute. It's been a hot minute since I uploaded. Anyway, with this video, as it says in the title, we're going to be having a look at if I was in charge of United's transfer market activity, obviously being selling and bringing players in. So I'm not gonna waffle on what it's supposed to be. I'm just gonna get into it. Right, so from what we know, the transfer budget United had for the summer transfer window was 150 million. It's not great, and with the players I'd want to bring in at the price range I want to bring them in at, we're going to need more than 150 million. So this is how I'd get to doing that now to get us more than 150 million and sell off players that we don't use. I don't see how United haven't clocked this yet, or how the Glazers. You know, I'm not even mad at the Glazers. They're bald and there's no hair to protect their head. It's all cold. It's killed whatever small American brains they had. The players I would be selling in this transfer window would be Dean Henderson, which I reckon we could get about £30 million for him. Bailly, I reckon we could get about 20 million. Maguire, I reckon we could get about 30 million. Telles and Williams, I think we could shift them out for about 15 million each. I don't think that's mad. I think that's reasonable. Fred, who is looking like he will be leaving, I think we could get rid of him for about 30 million. I know he's not brilliant, but he is used a fair bit in rotation with the squad, so I think he could probably get about 30 million out of him. As depressing and sad as it is for me to say it, Van de Beek, I don't think there's any way he gets into the squad. You know, we've made a transfer of Mason Mount, so that obviously it boosts our attacking midfielders. Mainu looks good, but he's injured, so we may end up keeping Donny. But realistically, it probably is time to shift him on, which I would do, and I think you could probably get about 25 million. McTominay, 35. I think you could genuinely get 35 million out of McTominay. Very similar to Fred, used as a rotation player, but he is younger than Fred. And then the last person I'd be shifting out was Martial for 20. So if in this ideal world we've shifted those players out for the prices I reckon we could realistically get them for, right? We started with 150 million as our transfer budget. It's now at 368 million. We can get a decent bit done with 368 million. Right, so now looking at the transfer list again, I'd be putting together and the players I want if I was in charge of all this. We're getting in a few good players, mostly young though. You know, we need younger players. We need more younger players that have a decent amount of experience, but not too much experience where it would, you know, rocket their price up to ridiculous money. Anyway, we're gonna go straight into it. Onana was my number one keeper I wanted to replace De Gea. We obviously got him. Again, he was on the list I put together before his transfer was confirmed. I think we ended up paying about 40 million. I had it here. I thought we could have gone for about 30 million. The second keeper I would get, I don't think he'd be our sub. Kovar, he looks good, so I think I would have kept Kovar as more of our sub keeper. Heaton as a third, but the other keeper I would have been bringing in is actually Kevin Bazunu. Is it Irish bias? Yes. I also think he has potential to be a decent keeper. As I said, like, Kovar looks good, right? So we can keep him as our sub. Heaton, I reckon he could work as another year as third keeper. But I'd bring Bazunu in and I'd send him out on loan, preferably to Southampton. It's like, here's the money, give me him, right, you play for us now, piss off back to them for a season. It just works. I reckon we could get Bazunu for like 10 million. I know he's probably realistically worth about 9, but Southampton will probably want to keep their hands on him and up his price, but I'd be paying 10 million maximum. Looking at a centre back, because obviously we've sold 2 in this make-believe land. We've sold 2, so to replace either of those, I want to bring in De Bast, who is a Belgian. He's a Belgian centre back. But when it comes to his play style, I think he's very similar to Varane. You know, his defensive attributes solid, but he can play the ball. He can move up a bit with the ball, and You know, he's able to hold it when he's being pressed, and his passing is it's good. It's good. So I think if we brought in the best, yeah, rotate him in against like teams like Forest or Brentford, you know, not those lower table teams getting used to the Prem. I think he could be brilliant in the future. He would be the centre back I'd be going for, not the Cisse. Kim Min-jae, I would have loved him, but he's at Bayern now, so we're not getting him. And again, he's not that young. The pass is only 21, so could keep him for a good 11 years realistically. Right, so obviously shifted out a couple of midfielders. We need to get more midfielders in. You know, more midfielders are needed. It's just a fact. And the midfielders I would personally be going for is Andre of Fluminense, who is very like Casemiro. Like, there's two players I'm already looking to get in for cheap money to replace a certain player, and I'm aware that they are very like that player. Again, the Bast will replace Varane. Andre would replace Casemiro. Now, Andre, it just is almost like a regen of Casemiro. Defensive awareness, I think, has potential to be world class. His tackling, all that, it's tops. But he's also able to press forward and play. He's a very deep line playmaker, again, like Casemiro. So I think we'd bring him in. I can see us getting Andre for about 15 million. You know, he is starting to gain a bit of traction, so I think we swoop in now while we can. I know some people are saying, oh, well, we want Lavia. You're not getting him. You're not. Southampton probably want about 50 million, and I'm not paying 50 million for a 19-year-old when I can go out to Brazil and get Andre for about 14 million realistically. Well, no, it'd probably be about 15. Yeah, we'll say 15. We'll say 15 million. The second one is actually Feghouli from Juventus. I think he's almost like a carbon copy of Mount, just younger. And I personally think has more potential than Mount. And again, he's not going to cost us the 65 million Mount ended up. I think we realistically could have got him for about 30 million. I genuinely think. You know, Juventus are now mid-table after their penalty, the charges and that they had. So I'd say they just take as much as they could get out of a team for other players. So that's the midfield we'd be bringing in. Feghouli and Andre, again, two young players. I think Andre's 21, I think Fegouli's 20. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure they're the ages. I'd be bringing in two strikers. Now, the two strikers that I want are young, but they're gonna cost us the most amount of money out of the players that I have on this list. Obviously, Højlund, we got him, so we're doing good. Two players I had on my list, and I put together on a list at the start of the transfer window, have been brought in, unfortunately, for more than I would personally pay for them. Højlund, I'd be pushing 42 million. That'd be the max I think he's worth. I know he's young. I know they only recently paid him. He has potential, but I don't think he's 60 million we ended up paying for him good. I think he's 42 with a push good. Realistically, 40. So he would be who I'd go with. Second player, I think he will be pushed, and is again, he's very good, and there's actually a player on the team currently that has backed and said, look, he's ready to play at this level weekly, and he can do it. He has potential to be brilliant. That player is Gonzalo Ramos of Benfica. Again, 21-year-old striker. Realistically, Benfica will probably want 65 million, and you know what? He's probably worth about 65. He just is. He played brilliantly during the World Cup. He's played brilliantly for Benfica the past 2 seasons. And again, we have a player that is one of our best, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the most crucial players on our team. We're even saying he's ready. I've talked to him and he wants to come. He'd be open to coming. He's ready for that step up. And obviously that with Gonzalo Ramos being a Portuguese player, it's Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes has said it. He's ready. So I think, yes, Højlund looks good. Yes, Højlund has potential. I think we bring him in. And I think we bring Ramos in. I think it makes sense. There's two young strikers where you can rotate them, get them used to the Prem, but not have them like. Yes, with Højlund coming in, he is a young striker. Obviously, we know this. He has potential, but we don't have a striker to back him up. It's him, and then realistically, we're gonna have Rashford up front. Rashford isn't a striker. He's just not. He can play there, but he's not an out-and-out striker. So when we have him playing as striker, quality's going to drop off. Whereas if we consistently play Højlund, we're going to run him into the ground. So we bring him in, have Højlund as the sub, and have Gonzalo Ramos as our starting striker. It's logical. It just is. The whole transfer list. Again, if we get it at the price I would pay, it's going to cost us 202 million. You might be saying, my guy, that shit is a lot. It's not. It's not. You're getting 7 players that have good potential. One has made it to a Champions League final. The other played brilliantly in the World Cup and has a player backing him. And the rest are like 20, 21. So should they not work out, you could give them like 4 years. And then they're 25, they're still not working. You ship them out. And you get what you can. Now, as I said, right? 202 million. Okay? So let's go back a minute. We started with a transfer budget of 150 million. We sold a few players, then made our transfer budget 368 million. Transfer list, if we were to get everyone at the price I think they're worth, 202 million. That means, right, stick with me for a second. When this transfer window is over and we go into our next one, we still right, and again, this is just what's going to be left over from this. Never mind if we get more funds come the next window, right? Just out of this window, we are going into that transfer window with a budget of £166 million. That's £16 million more than what we started off and what they have in this window. And you're bringing in 7 young players. That's how you do a transfer window. That's how you do it right. And as I said, you get them young. If they don't work out, you ship them out. And you start again, you try again. Because out of those 7 players, not all of them, let's be realistic, not all are going to work. But a good few will. So the ones that don't work, you ship out. The ones that do work, Glass, you have them for like a decade. You're flying. Right, so that's the end of this video. Let me know what you think. Do you think some of the players, have I overpaid? Have I underpaid? Are they just not good enough? I can see people complaining about Bazunu. I can see people going, well, he was shit with Southampton. I still think he's going to be a good keeper. And yes, I am being biased because he's Irish. Tough shit. As I said though, I wouldn't have him being a starting or a sub. I'd send him out on loan. And then give him a season. If it doesn't work out, as I said, just fuck him off. Get cash. It's how you run a football club successfully. It just is. Anyway, I'm gonna stop ranting. Have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll talk to you in the next one.